Hello, everyone. All right, here we are today. Today we're just going to do a little live. I'm going to talk about TrueNAS Scale. I haven't talked about that much. I've created a little server of mine in the back there. You may see it right there a little bit. There. All right. So that has TrueNAS Scale 22.02 RC.1.1. So it's getting pretty close to coming out to be a full-blown version, and I'm pretty excited because that's one based on Linux. So yeah, and also updates. I put a little message in the channel that I turned on membership to the channel. $1.99 gets you access. And what that really does is going to give you the ability to do access to the Discord channel. So I started a Discord server, and that way I can maybe help some of these people that are asking questions that are not very easy to answer just on a comment. So if you're a member, you get the access to come in there, and maybe you can ask a little bit more in-depth questions. We can have a little bit more of a dialogue. Other people can help each other, so build a little community there. And hopefully, maybe I'll even have some of my technicians pop in and out of there to give some people some help. So, and then just general discussion. Let me know in the comments or talk in there to see what you would like to see from that membership. I'm interested in what kind of value you could get out of it, what value I can give to you on that membership. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started here. So I'm going to show you my desktop, and here we go. So here is my desktop. Let's talk about TrueNAS Scale. So first of all, if you don't know what Scale is, so TrueNAS traditionally is based off FreeBSD, and a little while ago they announced that they were going to change that up and offer expand their product lines, and that's where they changed FreeNAS to TrueNAS, and they're going to kind of put it all under one name. So TrueNAS Scale is the Linux version of TrueNAS, and I'm super excited about this because number one, ZFS has come a long way on Linux from when FreeNAS was the go-to ZFS for me. So a lot of things they've kind of reached parity on the ZFS side, which is great because ZFS is an awesome file system. Linux is going to let you do some things that you can't really do in FreeBSD. So you can do virtualization in FreeBSD using Beehive, but honestly, it's a little bit behind the times when you compare it to a KVM-based virtualization. And so with Scale, you're going to get things such as Docker and KVM virtual machines built into it and a bunch of other stuff. So that is super exciting. Now, also, I'm a little more familiar with Linux than I am BSD. So, most of my machines I run are Linux boxes. On the BSD side, I run FreeNAS, TrueNAS now. I run pfSense, which is based off of that. And that's about it. So when you're coming down and looking at that, and most things translate over pretty good. If you have Linux skills, they translate over to FreeBSD pretty well. It's just like, your Linux skills transfer over to your Mac OS, which is based off of BSD also. So let's take a look. Right now, our current version of TrueNAS Scale is 22.02 RC.1.1, which means that they had a release candidate and they revved it one more time. So what do we have here? All this stuff here. This is just the cycles. Change log. So we got some bug fixes and some of these key known issues. Looks like there's VZFL, GlusterFS. Oh, GlusterFS is also something that I really like. If you're interested in seeing like a GlusterFS tutorial, I'd be happy to do that. That sounds pretty good. At one point in time, I created a Raspberry Pi cluster, and I used GlusterFS in the file system. So that was a pretty cool project I did. Maybe we'll come back to that. I'll show you that some point in time. We can do a video on that. I can pull that back out. It's actually still up and running mostly, but it needs to be redone. So a few things here. Really, I don't see a whole lot. Probably more of it in the RC, the RC1, excuse me. Yeah, so this one has the big change log, because the -1 of it probably is just a little minor tweaks. But you look at this, all of these things here. Looks like they're using Angular for the UI. I didn't realize they were using Angular. So yeah, look at all this. Upgraded 21.04, but they're basing this off of Debian. But let's see. Okay, let's look at developer notes. Ooh, there's a Discord server, so if you're interested in that, check that out. So downloading TrueNAS Scale. So if you want to go, you can go to TrueNAS, go to Get TrueNAS, pick Scale. It'll bring you to this page right here. There's actually one more page before this. You just where they want to get your email address and everything. But there's a link down at the bottom. You can bypass that if you don't want to get that way. So minimum requirements: dual core CPU, 8 gigs of RAM, 16 gig SSD for boot, 2 drives, port, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is all normal stuff. Also, if you go over to introduction, nope, that's not what I want. Let's go to documentation. Documentation, resource, documentation, TrueNAS Scale. So here is the documentation for TrueNAS Scale. Go in here, and this is what Scale actually stands for. Yeah. But let's go to the introduction, hardware, boom, boom, boom. See, a little bit of an inconsistency. And I will just tell you, I have mine running on 8 gigs of RAM. So it does actually work. Getting started, come over here, and you want to download this guy. You're going to use Rufus if you're on Windows, and make sure that it's in DD mode when you burn that to your USB flash. And here's the installation process. It's pretty straightforward. Install, pick your drive you want, next through all this stuff. Pick a swap drive, add a password, boom, you're up and running. And that's pretty much all I did on this machine that we're going to look at here. Post install, you get a screen like that. So back on the home monitor in the back there, it actually looks just like that. So here you go, network interfaces, all this stuff. Excuse me, a little yawn going on. So yeah, there you go. So let's go ahead and look at it. So here it is. Now that is some crazy background there on the TrueNAS Scale. So I don't know if they all do that or they just pick a random background, but kind of cool. It's a little more exciting than what you get with the other one. So let's just so TrueNAS Core looks like this versus TrueNAS Scale. So yeah, Anyway, so let's go ahead and log in. Set that up as root. We put a super secure password in there, and boom. All right. So actually, let's go ahead and compare side by side. Let me pull up that TrueNAS I had up there again. All right. So here we go. Boom and boom. Let's reset the scale. Here's all right. So TrueNAS Scale, TrueNAS Core. All right. Well, those look very similar. See, a few things are slightly different, like over here on the left-hand side, it has the root login right here. So that's slightly different. You get information right here. Icon changes. You get a gear over here on this one versus settings is looks like a person. So that's slight differences. Now it could be this guy needs to be updated because this is 12.1. So let's go ahead and check the updates on that. There's definitely some updates, so maybe that changes when this gets updated. But yeah. Anyway, so the little system information panel looks a little different. Of course, you get the scale icon versus the core icon. Scale looks like the core icon, but it has more boxes. Yeah. So yeah. And so it gives you the version. I think they both give you the version. Yep, version here. Host name, uptime, platform, host name, uptime, boom. So I've had this up 43 minutes. CPU, if you notice, this is an A6 3500 APU. It's not something that's super powerful. It shows 3 cores. That's weird, and that it has a 3-core processor. Maybe that A6 does, but it's like a cheap old CPU, right? It's showing my 8 gigs of RAM over here. Storage, I have no pools created. Interestingly enough, though, you can you click over here, see it churns, where you can just create the pool right there. Here's your network and everything. So most of this looks pretty much just similar. Like I said, if you got questions, you want to know anything about this, or as I poke around on this, just ask questions, or if you want to know something about some of the other things I do, feel free to pop into the chat there, and we can diverge off of what I'm doing here if you feel like it. Okay, so next up, storage. So again, storage is the second one on scale, and then it goes way down here to get storage on this one. So that's interesting. And notice that it doesn't expand out. That could be because I haven't created any pools. So let's go ahead and create a pool. So create pool, and we're going to call it tank, right? And we're going to put these 2 terabyte drives in here over like that. And all this looks very similar to what you get in the you can pick Stripe Premier. I'm sure that I have RAID Z, RAID Z2 if I had more drives in there, but I only put 2 drives in there to do everything. So everything seems good. You add a VDEV if I had more disks. This looks very much exactly the same as how you're creating stuff on the TrueNAS Core version. So let's go ahead and create, go ahead and confirm. I love the fact that they give you these confirm checkboxes, because when you're creating these things, you want to do it right the first time and make sure you check your stuff. So I like the little confirm before they let you do it. And then boom, here we go. While we're doing that, we'll just hydrate. Okay, failed. Interesting. Now I just threw some random drives in there, so let's go ahead and go normally go up to look for devices, disks. Oh, disks. Let's look at disks. So let's just go ahead and wipe these guys. Quick wipe, confirm. My guess is that's probably what's going on there. Is I had something installed on those drives at some point in time. That was C. Let's go ahead and do a quick wipe on this one, B, and confirm and see what happens there. I like that this is built into there. I'm not sure that's in the existing one, so let's go over there and take a look. Let's go to disks. Let's just go ahead and look at this disk right here. Expand this down, and yeah, so I don't see a wipe on here, and it could be because it's already in pool. But yeah, that's interesting. That gives you that extra stuff. All right. So back to this. So we've done that. So let's go back and see if we can create that pool again. Let's go tank one more time. We're gonna add these guys here, over here, mirror it, and click create. Confirm and create. And cross your fingers. One more drives failed again. V-Day. Interesting. Well, I have no idea what all this stuff is. And let's see. Now, normally there's shell. Shell. Here we are on the shell. Let's see what we got here. Interesting stuff. Just looking to see what's around. So, what do we think? Is there a problem with the disks? Maybe I need to do a smart test. Because no, that is. Let's go back to disks. And see what we have here. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just go check for an update real quick. Maybe it no updates. Okay. So it doesn't like those disks. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna shut her down. I'm gonna move those disks to a different location and see what happens here. Let's go file, shut down, shut down. And I'll switch you back to this. I go here. Okay. So I'm booting that baby back up. We'll give it just a moment. And maybe I'm going to grab another drive real quick. And maybe I can drop another 2 terabyte drive in there. Here's another 2 terabyte drive. We're just going to go ahead and take this out. The scale update, it's not really a big update. Thanks for the question, but like I said, I've been kind of ignoring the TrueNAS scale a little bit for the longest time because it's in beta and you really can't use it for production or anything. But now that it's such a release candidate, I was thinking it was worth the time to go ahead and put some effort into it and check it out. So that's what I'm doing. We'll take this other 2 terabyte drive here and install it. I just did a reboot for those just coming in to try to get this pool set up. I moved drives to a different location. I have a RAID card in, or a HBA of some sort that's in there. I don't even really remember what hardware I have in that machine. There was just some spare parts that I threw together a while back and was going to use it for this purposes. But yeah. All right, so I've got this other 2 terabyte drive here that we can maybe set up. All right, so back to this. We have TrueNAS Scale. It's back up. And maybe, just maybe, oh look, here's a getting started. I think we got that the last time we were in here. But let's see. It gives you the documentation, forums, all this. Find the information later by clicking the gear in the top right corner, then about. I'm just going to say that's actually not true because they've changed that from a gear to this little icon, but whatever. All right, so getting started, put you there. Okay, so let's go back to storage and let's go ahead and look at disks. And so both my disks show up here. Interesting. A, B, and C right there. So let's go ahead back to storage and create a pool. Try to create a pool again. So let's tank one more time. Select these disks, go over here, mirror, and create. Confirm and create. Now, if all things go well, it's going to create these pool again. And it looks like it's going to. So maybe it didn't like that HBA that I have in there. That could be the problem. So while we're waiting on that, just interested for those of you checking in, I would like to know what you would like to see out of my membership portion of the channel. Right now I got it set at $1.99 to get in there, and I connected to a Discord. So my initial thoughts are we use Discord to answer or have a more in-depth conversation than what I can have in the comments for people fixing things or giving advice. So that's the plan. And here we go. She's up and running. And now I have a drive tank. All right, good deal. So let's look at that. Boom, 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 boom. So let's go back to disks and view disks, and you'll see that they're in that tank. Okay, I like it. Storage. Go back here. Shows this. Shows the LZ4 for compression. Add a data set. Add zvol. Edit option to view permissions. All this stuff looks pretty similar. What do we have here? Oh, look. Add vdev, scrub pool, status. Let's look at status. Shows that it's in a mirror. Um, yeah, replace, detach. So far, this is looking pretty good. Let's compare that to what we have when we go to the status in here. So go to pools and go to here and go to status. And so this versus this, very similar. On this mirror, I had the ability to come up here and extend and remove. On the RAID Z, you don't get that. So I don't know if that's just a difference. On the drives, you can edit, offline, replace. And over here on the drive, you can edit, offline, online, replace, remove, detach. It seems like they a little bit more. Um, so yeah, awesome. All right. So moving on. So now we got data set up. Let's go back to the dashboard and take a look at it now. So now what you get is the storage down here and still the big button that says create pool. On this one, you get yeah, it's a little different. Honestly, I'm liking the scale a little bit better. I'm hoping that these UI changes will actually come down to the core product too. My guess is they probably will. They'll get more one-for-one changes. So yeah. All right. So that's that. You can do the check for update right here, which also is true on the core. Updates available, which I haven't updated that one. What else do we have here? So that's storage we looked at. Now there's a lot less on the left side here on this one. I think they've moved, update, general, advanced, boot, several things under the system settings that are not. Yeah, so maybe it's just they don't have as much implemented yet in the TrueNAS scale. So look at shares. This is definitely different. So if you go over here and you go to sharing, it's just a little bit different. Maybe services kind of gives you, so yeah, it's definitely a different layout. You got Windows shares, Unix shares, iSCSI, WebDAV, stopped. So it's definitely different here. I'm used to how it's done in the other one, so I don't know. Let's take a look at these. You got turn it on and off, configure service. Like typically that's here under services. You turn it off and configure here. Sharing, you'll go in here and you'll set up things in here. So they're kind of maybe adding those all in one spot. I kind of like it. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to. Add a share, configure, iSCSI. Let's see. Let's go and look at the configure. This looks pretty new. Enable SMB1 until MB1. These two things are important if you have legacy old like servers that you need to talk to, and that's more common than you would think. Oh, look. Now it went to the services. So this is in there somewhere. So is that maybe under, okay, so services, under system settings, services, this is the equivalent of services here. Boom, boom. Now, there's a lot in here. Dynamic DNS. I'm curious to see what we have here. The dynamic DNS in this one, when you go to it, you have all these options. And in this one, dynamic DNS, layout's a little different. And still a lot of options here. So maybe they're the same, they might be slightly different. Check IP for SSL. Interesting. We'll let that catch up. FTP, iSCSI, LDAP, or assume that's LDAP. NFS, OpenVPN client, OpenVPN server. I think you have those on this too. Yeah, client server too. RSync smart. SMB, so you can make your shares, SNMP, SSH, you can turn on or off SSH. I usually leave this off unless I need to actually do something. So sometimes I flip this on and off. So yeah, I think basically those are all pretty much the same. Let's see what else we have. So back to shares. Let's have these guys. Data protection. Ooh, this is new because I don't think there's an equivalent of that in core. So let's see what we have. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So it looks like data protection is about cloud syncs and sync tests. Oh, I like this little dashboard. So what do we have? We scrub this. These are that's a ZFS, like a maintenance type of thing for ZFS. Snapshot tasks. That's there's an equivalent of that. We have to do this under tasks. So you get rsync, cron jobs, these scrub tests. So those are in here. They just named them slightly different. Cloud sync tests. Cloud sync tests, that's in here also. rsync, I think I saw that. Snapshots, replication tests, smart tests. Smart tests, replication tests, tasks. Yeah, so basically that's changed from tasks to data protection. Okay, I'll take it. Cloud sync, let's take a look at that. Push and pull. Yeah, this looks very similar. So if you've seen my video on how to sync your FreeNAS with OneDrive or SharePoint, this looks pretty much the same. Yeah, pretty much. But and so what you'll probably go is there's going to be like a credentials somewhere here. Yeah. So if you go into here, if you have Cloud Syncs test, you'll see my Wasabi one, and then you'll go under accounts, system, credentials, cloud credentials. You'll see my Wasabi credentials in there, and so that's how that sync is set up. My guess is here you go before you set up your cloud sync. You also go up here to credentials, and there's probably maybe directory services. Nope. 2FA. Backup credentials. So here's why even call backup credentials? Okay. Cloud credentials. So that's right here. You go in and you select that, and here's your list of Amazon S3, Backblaze, Box, Dropbox, FTP, Cloud, Google Cloud Storage, Google Drive, Google Photos, HTTP, Azure, all kinds of stuff like that. To my S3 one is what I'm using for the Wasabi, and you just go to the advanced settings and you pick a custom endpoint. Okay. So I'm assuming that all sort of works here. Let's see, what else do we got? So that was data protection. Network. All right. Here we go. Oh, look at this. So a network. We got, excuse me. My bad. Here's your address. I have it set up on DHCP. So let's go to this global settings here and take a look at the host name, local name, DNS, MDNS. You get a little question marks. It says, hey, what is this? For NetBIOS, allow. That's pretty straightforward stuff, right? Okay. Now let's go to, see, I wonder how you change it. Oh, okay. So you just click on that interface. That's not super intuitive. You would think that there would be like a little pencil there. So most of this stuff here, you either get like something like this. Let's go to system and let's go to network. Let's go to network summary, network interfaces. So most of this stuff you have an edit icon to change them. So if you were going to want to change stuff, you would change it by clicking edit here. Reset instead of this delete. So it's a little bit not intuitive to just be able to click on that and then it shows edit interface. That's fine. It's just changed from what we normally do. So here's your DHCP. Uncheck that, and I'm sure you can make a static IP address. Here's the open VPN. Start stop. That's cool. All right. So okay. Hey, got a couple people talking here. I'm itchy to use Scale too. That's why I popped this in here, because I was like, I'm so excited for it to go to actual general availability. Why is that pop up not in the middle? So yeah, I'm not sure what pop up you're talking about. But it's a good question. So. Oh, you're talking about maybe you're talking about the edit interface pop-ups. That's just a sidebar coming out. It's a UI choice. Credentials, we kind of looked at this. Let's go to local users. It's going to probably be all of your local users for Linux. And it says all the built-in users except root are hidden by default. Using the gear icon in top right, toggle the display of built-in users close. All right, so you can go up here to this gear and you can show built-in users. That'll be all the ones like if you have www or whatever this distro is using for the web server and many other ones. Yeah. So, so like this pops, they kind of vary back and forth on where these little pop-ups. This one pops up on the side, but I guarantee I come down here and I hit edit, it's going to come out from the side rather than as a pop-up. So, like it's a UI choice. It's going to take a little bit of use to get used to. I think they do that in this one too. So nope. Yeah, so that's something that's different. You don't get a whole lot of pop outs from the side in the old interface. Like I said, my guess is that they are going to merge these closer. So if you don't like that pop out, give them some feedback. I'm sure you can pop into their forums and stuff, but I don't think there's a feedback. Is there a feedback in here somewhere? Let's see. Guide, API key. No. Here's the alert. I think that's actually the same. So yeah, here's the alerts. So they are doing some pop outs from the side, even in the TrueNAS core. Okay, so local groups. This is probably going to be similar. All the local groups are going to be hidden unless you unhide them. So, but when you create new groups, I'm sure they'll pop in there. Let's see, directory services. Directory service, Active Directory, LDAP services. So this is probably going to work a lot better in TrueNAS Scale than it does in the TrueNAS core. So the Active Directory stuff with Linux is very mature. So yeah. So I don't even know if that's in here. Directory services. Yeah, so there is a directory services stuff in here, but I haven't used it in a long time for that. So let's take a look at show advanced. Okay, change in advanced can be dangerous. I do like the little pop-up, especially when you're you're getting used to these things. Cancel. I don't want to see that. Continue. Okay, so that's just there's nothing exciting in there. Backup credentials, we were already in here. So if you need to have SSH keys, I assume. Yeah. Uh-huh. They look just like credentials. So maybe here the SSH key pairs here, or SSH connection saved. So that's a good thing if you want to do, if you have to do like an rsync or some sort of automated command. Love the cloud credentials. Those are super helpful. Virtualization. So this one's kind of a big one. We're going to come back to it. I'm going to go down to apps first. Apps. Oh boy. So here we are. The first time we're initializing apps. It's going to want to know where to put those apps at. This is very similar to in core, where it needs a place to put the jail information. I'm assuming this is Docker. So basically, what it's asking you to do is where do you want to store your Docker? We'll put it in tank. Choose. It's gonna go in here and do its thing. All right. That seems to be taking a little bit, doesn't it? Well, that means it's a perfect opportunity for me to hydrate. All right. Ooh, there we go. Using the pool. All right, so successful. Boom. All right, so available applications. Plex is a huge one. Nextcloud is a huge one. MinIO is awesome. Let's see what else we have. I don't really do anything with Chia. Like I said, there's 2 Plexes. That's interesting. Must be a different versions. No, they look even the same versions. That's interesting. There's even another MinIO. So it's weird that they're duplicated like this. So let's maybe click over here. Installed. It's going to have nothing. Let's go to the availability. Maybe it just duplicated those. Yeah, so I think it did. So that's not a whole lot of things. Collabora. What is charts? Okay. Close. And if you're familiar with Plex, I mean, that's a very common use. I think this is probably going to be better Plex server than what you get with the FreeNAS version. Nextcloud, I'm hoping this is going to actually be better too, because some of the struggles with Nextcloud are BSD based, that things aren't supported. Like for example, the document editing that's built into Nextcloud for editing documents. It doesn't work on TrueNAS in the BSD version, so maybe it works on here. Chia, this is that blockchain storage. I don't even know what IPFS, peer-to-peer file system, MinIO. If you're not familiar with MinIO, it is I believe it's a Go based. Does it say Go? Yeah, I think it's Go based implementation of Amazon S3 that you can pull. I have a video on that too, so if you want to check that out, that's cool. So this guy here, another Chia thing. Let's see, let's manage catalogs. Okay, so there's an official, and that means that you can probably add a catalog, manage Docker images. So yeah. No applications installed. All right, so now let's go back to virtualization. This is the fun stuff. So virtualization on this is going to be KVM based. And so let's see what that looks like. Add virtual machine. You got a guest operating system. You use Windows, Linux, BSD. Spice or VNC. Very good. Very good. Test. System clocks. Number of CPUs, threads, CPU modes, host mode, pass through. Okay. Okay, this is all pretty normal stuff. Disks, use existing, create a new one. 10 gig. Okay, pick where you want it. You can do it in your tank. You can do it in your IX applications. Honestly, if you're going to do VMs, I would probably create a your own data set for it. So we're just going to do this for now. Intel, VirtIO. Okay, that's pretty normal stuff. Installation media. Where it's at. GPU. Interesting. Let's see what this says. So the GPU pass-through on this stuff might be pretty neat. Because at least one GPU required by the host function. Okay. So this is something to think about when you're want to do like a Plex server, if you want to do transcoding. So you might stick an extra GPU in, if you can find and buy one, right? Stick an extra GPU in your TrueNAS Scale box that can be passed through to do GPU transcoding of your Plex videos. So that's something to consider there. All right, so nothing exciting there. That's pretty straightforward. Reporting. So typically this is, just all your charts and graphs. It's very similar. You just go up here, disks. Let's look at the CPU again. Yep, normal stuff. There, look, you can see where she went down. I rebooted memory. You can see physical memory, swap space utilization, network. Check out network interface, NFS partitions. I would skip to NFS because I don't have anything configured. So here's that system. So uptime. This is pretty normal stuff. Target. Not the store. ZFS. So here's all your CFS information. So that brings us back down to system settings. The first thing you got is updates. So you go in here, you can click on this, install manual updates. That's normal stuff. General. So the general gives you support information for IX systems. GUI stuff, settings, localization settings. Let's change this real quick since I am in. There we go. And I'll hit save on that. We'll change that time to the right spot for me. Here's where you change your NTP servers. Let's just take a look at this. Cert. HTTP to HTTPS redirect. Yeah, it's all normal stuff. Nothing too exciting about there. That was general, I think. Let's go to advanced. All right, console. Show console with prompt. Yes. syslogs, crons. Yeah, so initialization, isolated GPU devices. This is interesting. Interesting. I really think this is going to be good for Plex and doing some stuff like even if maybe you got your NAS and you have a couple extra GPUs in there and you're going to do some crypto mining on it or something with this GPU pass through stuff, it might be pretty cool. Might be able to do some fun stuff there. Boot. It should be the boot device, and where you can check your boot status there. Let's see what else we got. Stats. Okay. Rename, clone, keep. This is keeping this involved where, like, if you have to roll back to a different version, you have this similarly in the regular version, core version 2. So that was that. Services. Again, we looked at this earlier. This is all the services. Bing, bang, boom. And then shell. There it is. Normal Linux stuff. I can't think of any Linux commands right off the top of my head, but there you have it. Now, that covers everything over here. Oh, down here at the bottom, I know how here it has this up here at the top. Looks like it's down here at the bottom on this one. So, all right. And I think this expands and tracks that. I think you actually have that over here also. Goes all the way away on 4 versus just collapsing down on scale. All right, so status command. Okay, connect. Oh, cancel. So that's true command. We got info, directory services, task manager. You can show your histories, and you have alerts over here, where you can go to alert settings and services. Interesting. An email. You got settings, change password, preferences, API key, gaps. Okay, so let's look at preferences. Oh, here we go. We can change our theme. Retro logo. I really like the retro logo. But all right, so here's what dark is. Let's look at blue. There's the blue. And Dracula. There you go. That's Dracula. Nord. Yeah, that's Nord. It just looks kind of muted. Paper. Okay. Solarized dark. Yeah, it gives you a little, I'd call this like a sea green or something like that. Midnight. Your midnight one, not bad. High contrast. Careful, this one's going to be bright. All right, so I'm going to go back to IX dark, and there it is. So that's that. Changing password, just let you change your admin password. API keys, where you can add those. I believe that's for true command. Guides, send you to the guides. That's good. About, and there's our about. All right, so that's everything. How do I get this to go? Also, you got docs here. It's interesting. I just take you to the docs. There's another way to get there. And the power button. Hit that, or log out, restart, and shut down. Well, that's our tour of TrueNAS Scale 22.02 RC.1.1. So And if there's any questions, pop them in here. I can answer them. But I think it's ready. I will probably continue to play around with this. I'll probably maybe set up a share here pretty soon. We'll do some stuff. I'll keep this guy online and monitor it as we move through and update it. And when we get a general release, we'll probably do a setup and maybe deploy like Nextcloud and some other stuffs on it. I might just do some of those things anyway. And there you go. So let's talk about a couple other things. Now there is some things on upgrading. Now let's see if I can find that, because there's a way to take a TrueNAS core and convert it to a scale. And let's see, introduction. Let's see if I can find that. Migrate. So number one, so virtual machine. So it will work in everybody's stuff for virtual disks. So you have that. But here's one that's interesting: migrating from TrueNAS Core to Scale. Okay, so let's see, there might be some issues with some encryption. Basically, it looks like you're going to do your basic install, and you're going to select Install Update, and preserve the existing upgrade and install. Okay, so you'll do an upgrade install, and I guess it will do a user configuration. Let's see if proceed with upgrade. Yeah. Okay, so this looks pretty straightforward, really. You can take your core and upgrade it to scale. You just similar to the way that you would install TrueNAS off of a USB. And you'll just hit install update, and you're going to keep the existing version. So upgrade it, the existing version. And I think it's going to take your TrueNAS core and basically just convert it to a scale. My guess is that it backs up the config or keeps the config somehow, and then reinstalls the operating system and restores the config. That'd be my guess. Typically, when I do an upgrade or a big change, the ZFF pools, you can do a fresh install and drop your old config in and restore, and boom. So I think this is going to be pretty similar. So I would maybe I'll try that at some point in time. Excuse me. So, all right. Thanks for joining me on this live stream on playing with TrueNAS Scale. I am excited about it, and we'll keep it going. I will probably blow away that existing data pool that I did and add a third drive so that we can have a ZFS RAID Z in there to play with, and we'll move forward, see what happens. I'll see you next time. I'm Kevin Stevenson with GetMeTheGeek.com. If you got value out of this, go ahead and smash that like button. Maybe subscribe to my channel. If you need help, I have a new membership, so you can join the membership for $1.99, and you can get a little bit more help than what we normally do through the commenting section. So check that out. If you want to go ahead and contribute to buy me a coffee, I've got a link on that too, where you could just shoot me a little bit of cash love there. So anything helps. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.